Bismillâhirrahmanirrahîm. Dear brothers and sisters, today I'm going to tell you a brief story about two men, hoping that it will be the fire of salvation, the sun of faith, and the light of devotion for you. Once there were two men. One of them was quite humble and modest, while the other was arrogant and big-headed. These two men decided to travel to a country they had never been to or heard of before. But the country they chose to visit was quite an interesting one. In this country, everything was good for good people and evil for evil people. There were treats, gifts, special guards, and servants everywhere for good people, while bandits, thieves, terrorists, and many other evil-minded enemies lived around on the streets, in the rural areas in the mountains for evil people. The country was a piece of heaven for those living in line with the rules, but there was no peace for lonely and unruly people. To make a comparison, we can say that whether the country would be a heaven or hell for tourists depended on having a visa to travel around the country. This is why the humble and modest man got a visa from the rulers of the country so that he would be able to enter the country officially and travel there with peace of mind. However, the arrogant and big-headed man found a way to enter the country without any permit or certificate, flaunting that he would paddle his own canoe. Of course, he could have been right if it was only about entering the country, but as I've just said, there were many required measures for protecting from tens of enemies and procedures for staying and traveling in that country and benefiting from its advantages, and meeting daily needs like finding food, drinks, clothing, and shelter. As such, the modest man had received an official document from the president of the country before his trip and traveled around and stayed in the country at will. The man automatically received the guard and support of the president with that certificate. And whenever he showed that he was easily protected from the harm of all evil and evil-minded people and enemies. When evil people saw the certificate, they had to walk away and even escape from the man. He met all his needs by showing that certificate. Furthermore, he received great attention and interest from people thanks to the signed certificate he had. So, he completed his trip peacefully and safely as a respectable man, just like a special guest of the president of the country. On the other hand, the arrogant man who said he didn't need permission from anyone, and thus entered the country without a permit, suffered too much from his trip and his life turned into a nightmare. Thieves stole his assets, robbers tortured him in various ways to have some fun. He failed to get the food or drinks he needed, and he couldn't find a doctor to treat him either. A warm bed to sleep in and have some rest was just a will-o'-the-wisp for him. He spent his days shaking from fear of potential harm and attacks he might face in that country and had to beg day and night to meet his needs. So, dear friends, we are those men who made a travel plan, and this world is the country traveled. Our world is like an unknown country, an immense desert of a newborn baby. We're totally foreign to this world, and we have many enemies and endless needs here. To make matters worse, we are weak and in poverty in this world. When we were born, we had no money or other assets, and we didn't have sufficient power to meet our needs. Despite all these, there is a simple formula to feel at ease and to live in peace in this world. The first thing we need to do is to find the real authority to apply for a visa, to receive permission from and to refer to such authority in our actions. That authority is Allah, the sole owner and ruler of the world, and the visa we'll receive from Him is the word Bismillah. So my dear brothers and sisters, If you receive Allah's visa and permission with this word, then you'll have all the right to make the most of Allah's blessings in the world. When you utter this word, you act as a representative of Allah in this world. Frequent utterances in this world will protect you from the harm and evilness of invisible enemies like the devil or jinns. This word will help you to win against your visible enemies as well. In brief, you will reach your beloved ones and your will, thanks to this word, and you will be protected from those that you dislike or is scared of. Dear brothers and sisters, maybe we can understand the power and secret of the word Bismillah better with these examples. Just as a director, a commander, or a governor acting on behalf of the state can be the ruler of hundreds, thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of people. In the same way, despite their weaknesses, human beings can be the ruler and master of hundreds of thousands of beings created by Allah with the word Bismillah. This is because the supreme and unprecedented power of Almighty Allah supports the person who says this word. When a man leans his back against the great and unprecedented power of the mystical word, he can do whatever he wants for the sake of Allah, the actual owner of power, and can overcome all troubles. But first of all, my brothers and sisters, we need to be fully aware of our weaknesses and poverty in order to attain this power. Then, we should appear before the merciful Allah with all our poverty and misery and take shelter in His presence. Finally, we should say Bismillah to ask for the permission and support of Allah. A person who gets to know this secret and attains this power will be able to manage things much beyond his skills. This is how a common and weak person rules a large army or a large city. That person cannot manage the will of thousands of people with his own power or skills. He can manage the will of hundreds of thousands and even millions of people only by means of the permission and commissioning of a superior powerful authority. Little bits of seeds are also like that, my brothers and sisters. Huge trees grow out of the tiniest fig seeds and carry tons of fruit on their branches with the will of Allah and the miracle of Bismillah. The gardens offers us a variety of tastes in different colors thanks to the miraculous Bismillah. As animals like camels, sheep, goats, and cows eat things that we would be never able to, they serve as a spring of milk with the love of Bismillah and for the sake of Allah, who gives us all the food. Soft and smooth roots of weak plants make holes in rocks, stones, and earth to crop out with the enthusing power of Bismillah. Dry branches of trees give juicy fruits. Some roots contain treasure of food underground, just for us. Smooth and clear water springs out of steep rocks. Despite the hot weather that lasts for months, the green leaves of trees survive. In a nutshell, all the events, beauties, and blessings in the universe occur through Bismillah. That is, the whole system of the universe turns into a great poem written by the events that occur with the permission and for the sake of Allah. Likewise, the weak and miserable human being becomes a master of an elephant, camel, horse, or cow which are bigger than himself, thanks to the miraculous Bismillah. He benefits from plants and trees which he cannot be strong enough for a single leaf of, and he challenges visible and invisible enemies. My dear brothers and sisters, all these things can happen with the miracle of Bismillah and find us as a blessing with Allah's permission. So, without His permission, no single drop of rain can fall, no seed or seedling can grow. The leaf on a branch cannot move even a little bit, or an ant cannot move a single step in darkness. Therefore, we must always utter Bismillah to be able to benefit more from all these earthly blessings created for us by Allah. We must act for the sake of Allah when receiving or giving something, when sleeping or waking up. We must not benefit from anything that is not for the sake of Allah. We can also view the matter like this. Just like everything in the world has a price, the numerous blessings of Allah must have a price too. But the price is quite low, considering prices the human being asks for man-made products. This is because Allah, the owner of real prosperity, does not need any wealth to come from the human beings. So, what is this price? The first, dhikr, then thinking, and finally thanksgiving. We must utter Allah's name before the blessings we are willing to benefit from, and remember Allah, the real owner of such blessing, and get His permission before using that blessing. Throughout the course, we must think about the greatness and mercy of Allah, who gave us the blessing, and the grandeur of the amazing universal system He created. In the end, we must give our thanks to the real owner of all these blessings. All in all, we must know this, my dear brothers and sisters. Anything that doesn't start with Bismillah will be unfruitful and destined to fail. This is why we started our story by saying, Bismillâhirrahmanirrahîm. The word Bismillah is a symbol of Islam and surrendering to Allah. As a sign of Islam, Bismillah is an everlasting wealth. This word is an inexhaustible source of power, as it signals surrendering to Allah, referring to Him for the beginning and end of things. Bismillah is also a dhikr that all the creatures in the world say at all times in their own language. Bismillah, Bismillâhirrahmanirrahîm, in the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful, in the name of Allah, who is compassionate to all the creatures in the world, whether they have intelligence or faith or not, and who is compassionate and forgiving exclusively for the Muslims in the afterlife, to delight them with His heaven. My dear brothers and sisters, I wish you to find a true path and live in peace and welfare with Bismillah.